Good morning. Today is Sunday, December 8th. I forget. Anyway, I just came into the yoga place where I do the work on the van, emptied everything out, so I'm back to it. Today what I'm going to try and do is get the diesel heater installed. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to just go for it. The first thing I got to do is build the manifold, and that's got to go, I'll show you where that's going to go, and then right now. So it's going to go kind of slip in behind this panel and right on here, and then the heater's going to sit on top of that. That's the hole where the intake and exhaust is going to go through, and I've just kind of roughly dry fitted this heater right here, and I'm going to use this piece of aluminum that I've got. It's 1/4 inch thick, and this is the mounting plate for the heater, and I'm going to have it mount on here like that. So it's going to go like so. So what I need to do is cut 2 holes in here, or just like bring out this inside so that the exhaust and the bolt holes and the fuel line and all that can go through here without interrupting any of this. And then this thing is going to be about 6 inches up, and I'm going to build a base out of sheet metal that I've got on hand. So I'll cut that out and we'll go from there. Okay, here's the sheet metal I've got. This is from an old project. It's got a little bit of rust on it, but that's fine, so I'll clean that up. So I've measured a line here at 7 inches, and I'm going to cut a 7-inch strip across the whole thing, and then I'll figure out where the folds need to be, and we'll go from there. Okay, I just want to say doing that was kind of interesting. It's the first time, well, it's actually the second time I've used this tool. I actually bought it for a duct job that I needed to do a while back, and I know the principle behind it. But using this to make a part like that and some 2x4s that I screwed together is just adjusting my seat here. Is basically like it's pretty amateur, but it works. So ideally, all of that would have been done on like a shear. I would have done all my cutting on a shear. And one of those little, I don't know what they're called, but they got like a right angle square punch that punches out those little triangular cutouts so that you can fold metal and bend it in that way. And then to bend it all, I'd put it on a brake. And then it would be like these perfectly nice, perfect bends. But we did it like that, and for all intents and purposes, I think, you know, that's going to be fine. I left this one piece flat like this because it's got to go in behind something, and it's got to be profiled out a little bit so that it fits in there properly. So that's going to be the back side, and then this will be the front side. And I did leave this seam kind of more in the front. If I ever need to service it or, you know, put more sealant on it, I could. But yeah, that's the gist of the box. And then the lid. Let's see how well this lid fits on top. Oh, not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. So it's just in a little bit, which is fine. The tiniest bit. That's not a problem at all. So I'll be using a lot of that type of sealant and stuff on there. And I mean, I could actually go and get this all welded together, but and I did have a welder. Man, that would have been so cool, but I sold it when I got into this lifestyle. I just got rid of everything, and now it's kind of like, oh, you know, it'd be handy to have that. I could weld this whole piece together. But we're going to do rivets, and I think that's going to be just fine. The sealant stuff that I have is some marine grade, super industrial, super strong stuff, and it's going to be just fine. So that's that. Right, so it's going to go in here like this, and the back part's going to need to be profiled out a little bit so that this part slips in behind here. I'm thinking not to screw it in, like I'd have to take this panel off in the back and then screw it in, but I'm just going to put a lot of sealant and screw it along the edges here, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be just fine. So and then once it's on there and I can get on the inside, I can put sealant around all those corners as well so that it's pretty tight. So that's the plan. What's up, Chrome? You doing a live stream? Cool, man. Alright, I'm going to keep working on this, but I got a notification that he was doing that, so that's going to play on the background while I work on my heater install. And then that's it. I eventually imagine he's going to do a van tour of this thing on his channel once I'm all done, but not right now. Still got work to do. Okay, where's my piece? Here we go. So I just finished drilling these holes, and that's going to fit on there like so and get riveted together. So I'm just going to clean that up and then get some sealant on there, and we'll do the next step. Oh no, I really screwed this up. I built everything and I oriented the box the wrong way, so fuck. And I don't have enough sheet metal to build a new part from scratch. but I can kind of piece together bits and pieces on this one. It'd be a hack job, but that's what this is turning into, because I ain't building another one. Anyway, I'll show you what's up. So, do I patch it all together and do some monkey thing, or do I just say screw it and put it in there just like that? Because I'm pretty sure yeah, I'll have to tuck those wires away, but that'll fit like that. That is pretty tight though. As I turn it around, it's still not even the best the way it is right now, man. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna think about this. Okay, so I decided to flip it after all, and got some patch pieces made up, and I'm just gonna rivet those in there right now, and so it'll actually work out better this way in a way, because I'm mounting the back side of it properly instead of sliding a little piece down in the back and just plopping a bunch of sealant on. There's about a 1/2 inch of space on a horizontal level that I can actually get some set screws into and screw it all down. So this is going to be better. It would have been better to do it right from the beginning and or rebuild a new part, but this is going to work, and for what it is, it's fine. So, you know, if it was a lovely van, I'd probably make it perfect, but this is going to do the job just fine. Okay, that's from my mask. I haven't been recording. I've been just working, and I mean, I'm just going to show you kind of the progress and like how I'm going. And I'll try to use the camera a little bit more now. I've just been pretty focused on little bits and pieces. So, for starters, grab this. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see what's going on. Okay, so as you can see, I kind of have the heater and the hose and all that stuff connected, and that's because I was trying to figure out like how it's going to fit. And the other thing I did is I took that piece of aluminum, that 1/4 inch piece, and I cut the inside out so that it profiles the exact dimensions of where that metal folded into. And right now I've just got a screw here and a screw here. They're screwed in from the back, and these are all going to be screwed in from the back with sealant in between. The reason I use that is because this is going to give me a really flat surface, and it's a thick material that I can drill and tap into. And the idea is that it's going to act as a receiver for this here. And I already drew on it the orientation. Actually, instead of being like level, it's going to be offset slightly, so the heater is going to come out on an angle, and that way the pipe work just works a lot better. And if I was ever to change this up and use a different heater or something like that, essentially I just make a new template, or take the template that came with the new heater and just orient it on here how it needs to be, so that the ducting and all that sort of stuff will fit. So essentially that's it. So the next step at this point is going to be cutting these off, the lines, and getting rid of the excess, and getting the mounting screws on this one more or less ready to go. And there's not going to be many on this particular piece. It's really just going to be mounted like maybe 2 here and 2 back there, because the heater's going to be kind of in the way and you won't be able to mount a lot of screws, but I'll mount as many as I can. But that's another reason why I wanted a flat surface right here, and I'll use a gasket material to go in between those two. In this case, I'll probably just use a high temp silicone gasket as opposed to the sealant I'm using. The black sealant that I'm using in here is high temp marine grade stuff, but it is like a cement almost when it hardens, and I don't want a gasket between these two to be like that. Just in case I need to remove this to service the hoses, clamps and stuff like that. I don't want a permanent bond there, but just something else. Maybe even a gasket material. I might even look into that, because that would be better.
That's pretty good. Pretty happy with that.
Oh, this part, definitely making this thing has taken a long time. Okay, I just realized kind of a funny thing that I wanted to mention. So when I was a kid, my dad had like all these screws and stuff, nuts and bolts and whatnot, and he had this one box that had these all kinds of things in it, and at the time I kind of snatched up a bunch of this stuff for myself, and I mean, I never asked him for it, I just took it, and I don't know how old I was probably like 10 or maybe 13 or something in that neighborhood. Anyway, these screws are the only thing left from that screw box that he's had that I've hung on to all these years. Now they're in a different box now, but it's funny, like they never escape my mind. I'm always like building something, I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could use those. But here they are. They're these little tiny countersunk screws with a Phillips head on it, and they've kind of got a coarse cut thread, and they're fairly short, stainless steel. Anyway, I've been carting those things around forever, and oddly enough, I actually used them a fair bit in this thing. And this is, I mean, this is pretty shoddy work compared to the sheet metal work my dad did, but nevertheless, if there's an element in the van that I could put a little piece of my dad into, that would be it. So my dad's in a lot of it anyway through his teachings through to me now going into this project, but his screws are in here. Anyway, that's gonna stay there for the night. It's gonna set up and dry. All this stuff is gonna get a primer and a paint job tomorrow, and I've got primer and I've got paint, so I'm good. I'm just gonna keep cleaning up, but I thought I'd mention that little note. Thanks, Dad.